What's up, high levelers? Funnel Doc here. In today's video, we're going to be going over some major voice AI updates. That's right, some of the things that you've been waiting for are finally released. A couple of them are on the way. I'm going to show you everything you need to know about Outbound Voice AI. The new knowledge base update. That's right, I'm going to show you how to turn everything on so you can get it in your system today. I'm going to go over all the different voice AI actions. I'm going to show you what to do, how to set them up, when to set them up. Tons of examples. It's going to be great, as well as I'm going to give you a list and show you the recommended actions that I believe are the best ones for your business if you stay to the end. Make sure you do that. This video is going to be great. So with that being said, let's jump inside today's video. All right, so what's up, high levelers? So first thing we're going to do is talk about Outbound Voice AI. So this is going to be coming soon to a lot of you, and I just wanted to walk you through the setup process you're going to have to do to be able to get things done. So the first thing you're going to see is when it's available for you, an enable outbound calls button is going to pop up here. You're going to have to do KYC for this. So you're going to push this bad boy. You're going to read these guys. You're going to acknowledge it. You're going to hit accept. And then you're going to do KYC. So the one that I like doing is using my phone. This is really cool. I've done it super easy to do. You just select where you're at, United States, etc. I'm going to use my ID, and then I'm going to continue on another device. So then all you have to do is you take your phone out, and then you just scan the QR code. Boom. And then you get out your ID. You hit continue. And then yep, there we go. So we're going to continue another device. We're going to hit here. Then all you do is you get your phone, you get your ID, you do a quick little scan of your ID. Super easy to do. Make sure it's inside the little button, and when it's ready, it will appear for you. Put your face on its face. Take the picture. Boom, looks like that. Good to go. I'm going to use that photo. It's processing it now, super quick, super easy. Now, the next thing is they have to make sure it's me. The problem with this is you have to do it with no hat, and I got to take my glasses off. So here we go. You're going to look into the camera. You're going to move it closer. You're going to keep it inside the little field circle, tilt it up. And when you're centered and you're close enough, you take the photo. You're going to look to the left for a certain amount of time. It will. Then you look to the right. Now it's verifying. And boom, as you can see, it says now verified. It's verified on screen. That is so easy to do. And now you'll see that I've got outbound voice. So now you're going to come in here. It's analyzing different forms that I have right now in the system. It's going to run a compatibility check right there. I'm going to proceed with the update. Then right here, you're going to see to lawfully use voice AI outbound call with voice AI in most judicious. Your consent language should include the following elements: clear statement the user agrees to receive both text and phone calls, a disclosure that calls may be automated, pre-record, or use voice AI, a statement that the user agrees to receive marketing communications for your business, information on how the user can opt out of future messages. To enable voice AI calling, your data collections channels must include consent language and meet the requirements above. Below are the channels required to update for compatible for this feature. This is a platform requirement to support responsible use of our call tools. Please update the language to comply with your platform. So one thing I would do right here, it shows that there is I will check compatibility. So what I would do is I'm just going to dump this in here and tell Chat GPT and be like, hey, Chat, write this example for me. Info, blah, blah. All right, so just put that, see what it says real quick here. Yep. All right. So here we go. We'll just put that in right there. And then we'll go back in. We'll copy that, insert the new language. I'm going to say funnel doc AI. Please reply yes to agree. Receive phone calls, text messages, including from us, including marketing communications, voice services. Some calls may be automated. Use pre-recorded messages. I'll copy this as well and put it down below in the description so that you'll get this as well, because I think this covers everything. Hi, this is funnel. It says please update. And then let's see. I don't think we need the actual this is. We'll just go with this. All right, so we'll check compatibility. Disclaimer is compatible. You can proceed with the update. Click for the one form. Update language for selected channels. We're updating disclosure and everything. There you go. Total update, 0 failed. And so we're good to go. So now if we go to our agent and we build a new agent, we still to get the same agent, but we should now have a new section for outbound calls. How about cool is that? So now you're going to come in here and you've got your disclaimer type. Okay, so you've got your conversational where, hey, this is hey, contact first name. This is agent, which will be update for your AI's name, whatever you name it. An AI assistant on behalf of the name of your business. This account's called demo account. Did I catch you at a good time, or should I call you back later? If you prefer not to receive this calls, just say don't call me again to opt out. So you can do that one. I'm going to play around with it depending on how people engage. I'm going to see what is the best response or use they do, because we're going to start calling out a lot of our people for speed to lead. So when people fill out a form, one of the best use cases for this, and I'll go over what all the rules are here just in a second, but one of the best use cases for this is when someone fills out a form, calling them back right away to get them because they're a hot lead right then, or concise. And then you've got their intent message, include a friendly greeting and state the purpose of your call clearly. I'm calling you about, you scheduled an appointment, you filled out a form, whatever their action was to trigger it is what, when they opted in, is where you want to call them. And then you've got your opt-out mechanism here. You can do both key press and post-call SMS opt-out are coming soon. Highlevel's really doing a good job with this. Realize the scariest thing for Highlevel is having someone spam this or abuse this and get shut down. So they're putting in every type of guardrail they can to make it as safe as they can for people when it comes to voice AI, so that Highlevel doesn't get in trouble and that you as the user doesn't get in trouble as well. We're going to come back to this in a second here. Well, we'll just go ahead and say next for that. So now you know that part. I am going to jump out real quick and we're going to go into our workflows now. Let me refresh it. And we should have the outbound call option now. So if I go into this workflow here and then I hit here and I type outbound, we have outbound voice right here. So the way that this is going to work is someone fills out a form or does some type of trigger, and because of that, they're called. Now, here's how it has to work. It only works on newer agents. None of your old agents are able to be updated from my experience so far. Only works on new agents. And you'll see this from this list here. If I, let me zoom out just a little. There we go. You can see there's only one agent and there's two in the account. So you can see that one has not been set up. And even if you update the voice, still doesn't work. Trust me, I've tried. And then you can pick your phone number here. So that's a cool thing. You can assign and mix different agents to different phone numbers as well. Here are the very, very important guidelines. And this is one of the things you have to pay attention to, because once I was testing it, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get to fire. Well, it was 8:30 in the morning. It wasn't 10 yet, so it wasn't within the time. So calls are made at the rate of 1 per minute per location. So that means outbound to this person, you can do 1 call every minute. Each location, which is great for forms because people might be filling them out, but it'll just stack if they need to. Just realize if anything goes over limited, stacks to the next day or next available time. It actually will wait at that step. Each location can receive up to 100 calls per day. I believe they mean outbound they can do up to 100 calls per day. I don't think that should be received. I'll have to check the lingo on that. Each number can only be called once per day. So that's really important. So if they fill out the form and they get called, You cannot call them again. A lot of us, when we're doing outbound calls before, when I used to like use SynthFlow or retail or other ones, I'll do a 3 call stack because a lot of times people won't, the first ring, they'll be like, forget it. Second ring, nah. And third ring, they're like, who the heck is this, dude? Why are you calling me? And a lot of times they'll pick up. So that's a little trick we use a little bit here. Can't do it. Once per day. And then you can immediately call them the next one. So you can do the next day. And if you have it scheduled, it'll automatically hold and go to the next day. I've tested this all. Each phone number can only be called a maximum of 4 times in a 2 week period. So you could technically call them a day, wait one, a day, and a day. So you could call them 4 times in a row, but then you'd have to wait 2 weeks before you could call them again. So just keep that in mind. You can't call more than once per day or 4 times in a 2 week period. And the hours are from 10 a.m. to 9 or 6 p.m. in your time zone. And it can only be made to contacts who've opted in to receive AI calls and who've not enabled D&D. And right now, it's only U.S. numbers. So Canada, other countries right now, it's only U.S. Most likely, this will be available for everyone really soon. If not, they're definitely going to release it at the Level Up event. But I wanted to make sure everybody understood this one, super important one. And again, like you said, once you just set that up, you'd have it right here on your end and you'd have a form or whatever trigger you want for that. And that is how easy outbound call is going to be for this. So with that, let's go on and move to the next thing. So this is part 2 of my series. If you missed the beginning on how to set up the AI agents, watch this video right here. It'll walk you through all the beginning step. I went in depth on everything that you need to know about setting up your initial agent. So let's go ahead and go to the Voice AI. We'll go to our agent we just made right here. So I'll go over all this. Of course, I don't go to Outbound because just covered that today. But next thing we'll do is we're going to go to the actual actions. Now you can add a knowledge base. We're going to get to knowledge bases. Actually, let's get to knowledge bases right now. So you used to be able to click right here to go to knowledge base. Now it takes you to your AI agent. So if you're trying to figure it out, you're going to go AI agents to knowledge base. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff we're about to get into. I got a lot of great demos and stuff. Then we'll get into actions, and then we'll get into the actual recommended actions last. I've got a whole list of them. I'll give it to you. It's going to be great. So you're going to always start out with an existing knowledge base. You can change this knowledge base to anything you want. So if I wanted to just be the cool guy knowledge base, and then you want the description is how the AI is going to know to reference this knowledge base. When you need to know info about the cool guy, something like that, So that would be the knowledge base. And then you can come into each knowledge base. This one is always going to be here. You cannot delete this one. It's automatically going to be used. And it's used by workflow bots, you can see here. So anything in the workflows or in response, a lot of times it'll default to this one. You can have up to 7 knowledge bases for conversation AI in one bot, but only 1 for voice AI. So keep that in mind. So today we're going to be doing this here. I'll just delete this one and we'll go start from scratch. So we're going to create a knowledge base. This is going to be the demo and demo info. So again, you want the name to reference it, something that you're going to be able to recognize, but even more, the description is important for the AI. Both are important, but even more. Now you've got a plethora of different stuff now. You can either click right here at the bottom and add them. You can click right here at the source to add them. So you've got different options. First, we're going to go over web crawler. You've got 3 different options here. If we go to my website, funnel.ai right here, just grab this URL. Boom. And we want to put this in here. You've got different options. You've got the ability to, you have the ability to go to the exact URL, which is only funnel.ai.com. That's it. The next one would be anything with this path. So if I had another thing after it said maybe like AI, then it would be like anything with that extra AI on there that could be attached to it, it's going to pull all that in. And then anything with this domain would just be within itself would be anything attached to this. And I've done this before, and you'll see I'll pull it right now, and it's going to pull a bunch of different domains. It'll probably should at least. So it will fetch all those. Once you do that, you're going to see downloaded links. The other cool thing is they've recently added the ability for you to set how often you want it to update your web crawling. So now you're going to see in just a second that you can actually set it for daily, weekly, and monthly, which is super cool. I do believe it updates all of them. It's not individual for each one. So I'll add a couple more here and see what it does for web crawler. As you can see, it's adding so many pages right now. So if I just wanted to do another web crawler, it's making me wait till that's done. So if I want to do another web crawler, let's say with this one, we just wanted to do www.go high level. There you go, .com. So if we wanted that one, it'd be very specific just to this page, that exact URL and nothing else. So now we've got high level. Let's see if that one stayed. Yep. The other one's still searching, I think. We'll come back to that in a second. It's still searching. I'll show you about the update in a second while it's doing that. Next thing would be FAQ. Super easy to do that. I've got a FAQ here about Funnel AI. So then for FAQs, you would just come in here and you would get this FAQ document and you do your first one, like what is Funnel AI? And you come in and you copy this bad boy and you go FAQ and then you put it in here and then your answer. And then here's the answer, copy it. So I would just go through it and do it this way and put it in one at a time. Know that anytime you do the thumbs up or thumbs down, which is saying if it did a good job or not, when you update the thumbs down and tell it what you want it to say, it does add it to your FAQs. And FAQs will override a lot of stuff, sometimes in prompt and other places. So if you're having a problem with the bot responding a certain way or doing a certain thing, check your FAQs to make sure you're not being overridden because of that. The next thing is your web search. Now you have the ability to come in here and hit web search, and you can, for this one, we're going to grab like Wikipedia. So here's Wikipedia. So we'll go back, Wikipedia, and we're going to say entire web, or we're going to search on specific websites. And then I could say like the entire web if I wanted for everything, but I'm going to go just for this site. We're going to say, and you could add multiple if you wanted, and then how long do you want it to search for? So if you wanted to do a specific search for a website on something, it can now look that up for you. And you'll see it will search here the entire web, search on specific websites. And now if we go back to the web crawler, you'll see now we've got the auto refresh that's set up here. You just click that, you turn that bad boy on, and then you can set it for whatever you want. I do believe, again, that is only for one. So if I put, again, web crawler, and let's put back, the exact URL and just go with funnel. Yes. All right, so if we go funnelDocAI.com and we do that, you'll see it'll extract it really quick here. Now, normally you'd have to auto refresh it right here. And now the other thing you want to do too is anytime you pull in information, go to this little document right here and you can review. See, there's a bunch of stuff in here that pulled that's not even good data for some reason. It pulled in a bunch of phone numbers. So I would see what I mean. So you always want to check that. So this one, I would try it again maybe and see why it pulled that in there. That's interesting that it pulled that from that. But then I would delete this one. We'll see in just a second here. This one's almost done. We'll come back and check the management again. So we got the web search. So it has the ability to now search the entire web or Wikipedia for stuff. Now, we want to add a table. What you're going to do is you're going to add a CSV. So you're going to go right here to tables, and then here's your CSV. So this was just some fake contacts that I downloaded from Highlevel. You know how to give that fake contact thing. Let's see here today. Here we go. So one of the big things you want to check whenever you're downloading this is to see if it's searchable is fine, check those, but it's required or not required. Because what will happen is if some of these are blank, so say you have their phone number, but you might not have their email, what it will do is if it says required, it will error on them. So that's something to be aware of. Make sure that all these are on here. Boom. So we want to be able to search everything about them, but not necessarily require everything about them. And again, maybe you're requiring a phone number, so you'd want that. If you wanted email, you'd want that. I know Highlevel uses an emails or phone numbers usually is the tracking component, but if you don't require it, it will void out for one. So even though you might have their phone number, if you don't have their email, it'll void out. So once you see that you got everything set up, you'll see inspection errors, none are there, summary, total rows, total valid rows. You can see you have like 30,000. I don't know if that's a day, a month. I would imagine it resets, but maybe not. But this is for your ability to upload. Um, 30,000 is a lot. So we'll see. And then you've got your availability of your byte size and total contact. So once you're finished, you hit that, and then you'll see that all of them have updated with everything they have in there. Boom. Cool. First name, last name. Cool. Exactly. Next thing, rich text. Now, this is the text editor where you can do bold, you can do numbers, you can do letters, you can enter the name for it would be we'll just say text. Rich text, rich text. So you can come in, and here's an example I have of a bunch of demo rich text. You can just copy this. You come right into the AI um, um, and paste this in. Now, in just a second, I need to show you how to turn this on. But you can see now it could actually go in. It can see links. It can see the different type of fonts, all that type of stuff. You can paste it right in here. Save. You have up to 25,000 characters you can do. Keep that in mind. 25,000 is a ton. And then the final one, you've got the ability to upload any file. So if I go to upload a file, we can do a PDF, a docx. So for instance, we've got this PDF, this doc right there. We've got some different stuff. We can upload a couple different things. It'll process, show the file size, and then you can jump out to the doc and see what it's all about. It's extracting everything now. We'll see that web crawler, see the auto refresh. It looks like for both of them, you can only set auto refresh for one for each. So you can do it manually where you can come in here and hit the button, or you can do it now with the auto refresh. Again, you're going to always want to come in, see this is better, it's more information. Let's see what this last one says. Yeah, see, these were all bad. So I would probably delete that one and then redo it. And then for your upload file, still extracting the content from it. And then once you're done, that is all for demos. We'll come back in a second for extracting content. But to turn all these on, you have to go to your agency level. You're going to go to your agency level. You're going to go to your settings. So you're going to be in your agency level. You're going to settings at the bottom here. And then you're going to go down and you're going to go to labs at the very bottom right here. And then you want to go into, and you're going to go at the sub account level. So that's not the agency, it's the sub account level. So you go to sub account, and then, all right. So there's a couple of different spots. So the first one, to get the rich documents, you're going to want to go here. You're going to turn it on for all your accounts. The next one is right here. So you're going to enhance knowledge web crawler. So I just put Control F and put knowledge in here. So knowledge web crawler. So this is the more advanced web crawling option. You're going to want to turn that on. You can learn more about it by hitting learn more. And then the next one is right here, auto refresh knowledge base trained links. So you're going to want to turn that on for it to have. So if you don't see that auto refresh button, it's because you didn't turn it on yet. And those are the three spots that you need to turn it on. The auto refresh link, the enhanced knowledge base web crawl, and then the new knowledge base sources. And that will give you all the options to be able to do everything that I've showed you so far today when it comes to knowledge bases. So let's check back real quick for that last one for the file upload. We'll see we're processed here. That means it's got all that information. So all that one knowledge base now has all that different information that it can pull from. And then what you'll do, going back to the AI agent, is you're going to be right here. Now you've got a knowledge base. You can pull that one right here, and it'll tell you all that different information. You can change up what you wanted to say. So if I wanted to say something different for that knowledge base for using it here, I can't change the name here. You'll go in, and then you've got your knowledge bases at the top where you could do the demo or the cool guy, but again, you can only pull one. And then you've got your knowledge base for the AI to access it. Again, this is very basic model. We're about to get into the prompting in just a second. You can change this up all you want. These are the data points it's going to collect. You can either click these off or on, and it'll automatically collect these. And then you've got the ability, like I talked to before, about the ability to add different workflows when completed. It will then send at the end of the call all the information. You can set these up. I believe I talked a little bit more about that in the last video, but you can set these up for email completion. It'll give you a summary of the email, a little bit of a transcription. You can add custom email. You can pick specific users on your team. You can say who's assigned to this specific contact. Users, think about users as your team members. So it could be all team members, a specific one, or you can turn it all off. Once you're going through that, I don't really recommend using the basic at all because it takes minutes, especially what I'm going to show you now. We're about to move into prompting, and that's going to be amazing. I forgot to say that at the beginning, we're teaching about prompting as well. And then after that, we'll jump into the actions. So to get into this, first, you're going to switch to advanced modes. You're going to now see here is your prompt. So I've got an entire workbook here. This link is going to be down below. This outlines the basis of everything that you should have in a prompt. So let's blow this guy up here. So first thing, what is the prompt? Who is it? What's the role? What's the tone? What's the purpose? If there's any guardrails or rules it must follow, and then what type of questions it must ask, because it's the questions, it doesn't know just because you put in the custom field that you want it to gather information about how big their house is, what the square footage is. You have to ask that in the flow when you're creating this, and we'll jump into that in just a second. You'll see all the sections are outlined here on the left. So first thing you're going to always type in, and you can pretty much copy this, fill it out, and then paste it, and then remove some of the question part. So like who is the AI and that type of stuff. So first of all, what is the AI of the role, or the role of the AI? So let's say it's a sales AI. So you are a sales AI or a sales agent or advanced sales agent or aggressive sales agent for FunnelDoc AI. First part, role, done. I sort of included tone in there. You are friendly but yet aggressive. So we put that in there for tone. Usually, like you want to use like two different types of tone. You're going to be like you can be a friendly but aggressive, or casual and friendly, or casual and energetic, or whatever different type. But usually I like to use two different words. More than that, it sort of confuses the AI. And then what is the purpose? Your purpose is to educate the caller on every product that is available and to help them to make the best decision for them. Do not give up. You know, you can put a decent amount of stuff here. Be aggressive. Make sure that you're attempting at least X amount of tries before you move on to another product, or allow them to say no or try to reschedule, or you can put anything like that. And then here's where your guardrails are. You want to put in now information here that is important to collect. So I always make sure these are populated, and I'll put the custom values there. And then if you don't want them to say something, I don't usually use this, but maybe you have a specific, maybe you're legal or medical, and you have to avoid certain words or certain things. That would be a great thing. Never talk about politics, whatever you want to put in there. Keep responses. This is a great place too to make sure, because as you know, sometimes it will respond with huge paragraphs. If you only want it to be 2 or 3 paragraphs or certain small phrases or whatever, any of that stuff you're going to put in section 3 with the guardrails. And then next is, how is it flow? Okay, so now the greeting it has in here, You really don't do this yourself. You're going to put that at the very beginning when we started, when we went back here in the actual, let me save this and then we'll go back. But at the very beginning, at the bottom, that's where you're actually going to put your introduction. So if we go back now to the beginning of this guy, right here at the bottom, that's where you'll put this. Now, I recommend making sure that it makes some type of a statement or says some type of a question that's going to get the user to engage, because a lot of times if they're calling in, the AI might say, hey, welcome to FunnelDoc AI. And then no one knows to say anything. So you always want to sort of get a question to start the conversation. And then we'll go to the next, back to the goals here and switch advanced. So again, for your prompt, you're going to then come in, you're going to put the greeting, you can copy and paste this, put it in the other one, and then you're going to start to go into your flow. I like to, sometimes even in the greeting, I'll be like, oh, who am I speaking with? I'll put, oh, this is Samantha with FunnelDoc AI. Thanks so much for calling today. How can I help you? And who am I speaking with? Something like that. Remember, you can only use 190 characters in the initial message, so keep that in mind. Don't make it too long and verbose. So some of the initial stuff, and we're going to go over the top actions in just a little bit, how to set them up and what they should look like. But you're always going to collect name, email, and phone number, at least name and email or phone number, because that way it's able to notify or tag and know who the caller is. Sure, they may call with a phone number, but I always like to, and it pulls in the phone number automatically, but I always like to make sure that that number is the best phone number for them. So then you've got to go through your whole flow, like what are qualifying questions you might have. So qualifying question number one, let's say you're doing real estate. Do you own your home? How much do you own on your mortgage? When are you behind on your payments? When was remodeling or anything last done? How damaged is the house? What is the value of the house? These are all questions you want potentially the AI to ask, and you list them all out. And then those in turn would become custom fields that you'd update that we'll talk about in just a minute. But you can sort of see already how the flow is so important, especially with voice AI. And you want to really, I would do this. Once you fill this out, feed it into my chat GPT that I made for you guys. I made a GPT right here. The link will be down below. This is my master AI prompt builder. It's super good. You can try it with 5. I haven't used it with 5. I'm used to using it with 4, but I use this thing for all my prompts. So what I would do is fill this all out the best of your ability and then just dump it in there and say, hey, do you have any more questions? And it'll help you write out the last bit of that prompt. I have worked super hard on this guy. It is programmed with everything it needs to know or say for almost every type of AI. You just need to tell it, hey, this is for Highlevel Voice AI. Help me create this prompt, and it will do it. So that will be down in the description or down the comments below. And then, so the next thing we're going here is action. What to do once somebody qualifies. Again, we talked about qualifying before. A lot of you will have qualifying questions, or you might be customer support or something like that. So once they decide, yes, they've accepted, they've qualified, they move to the next step, maybe they want to book an appointment, maybe they need to notify a human, whatever it is, whatever the next step is, those are the next thing you're going to put here. And then finally, in your closing, once you've taken care of all the actions, you've gathered all the information, you've done all the actions, you fire all the workflows, you triggered any MCPs that we're going to talk about in there. You maybe have update all your contact fields, all that. Maybe you connected, well, you wouldn't connect them with a human, you'd still be talking to them. But all the actions are done. How do you want to end it? That's important. How do you want to end it? And put that in here. And then that walks you through pretty much everything you need to know. Now, again, this document will be down below, totally free for you. You won't be able to write in it, but you will be able to copy it. So go File to make a copy right here, and then you'll be able to have a copy of your own, call it whatever you want, and then you'll be able to write it and use it. So these are the sort of flow of the actual sections that I went over here. So you can sort of fill these in the blank here. You'll see it's in markdown format already. So this is going to key the AI GPT to know to use markdown. But you'll just put in the roles here, put in your guardrails, put in your conversation. Sometimes I'll put the guardrails at the bottom, but depends on what you want to do. But this is the outline. Like I said, you can just copy that once it's done. and then drop it into the prompt guy, and he'll give you the perfect prompt for you. The other cool thing you can do now is if you're going into it, you have a prompt evaluator, which I do believe that also needs to be turned on underneath evaluations. Yes. So AI prompt evaluator, oh, it's on for everybody now. Never mind, it's live. So the other cool thing you can do is once you have your prompt in here, we're going to have it evaluate its own prompt because we don't have it in here. But you can use this button. Also next to it is anytime you see the little ticket guy, you can use all the different custom values and custom fields. You can do so much in here. Highly recommend you do that. You've only got 3,000 words. Sometimes your prompts can get really long, especially if you're putting a lot of info in there, maybe about products or different things. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have those be custom values or custom fields, and I'll put them in there, and it will be able to pull that information in, and it could be paragraphs of information, but it's only instead like a custom value that's 10 or 15 characters long. So once you're done with that, you're going to hit evaluate once you're happy. And then over to the side here, you're going to see your evaluation is going to pop up where it's going to tell you what you're doing wrong, what it would recommend. The thing is, it doesn't do anything itself. It just recommends. So you come right here and you can see alignment with knowledge-based tool trigger. The prompt refers to tool triggers in general, but only one tool knowledge base is provided. For clarity, again, this is if you were doing like MCP tool calls or anything like that, you can do that and it'll show you more, and it shows you other ones, completeness, voice readiness, tone naturalness. It's got all different stuff. And then what you do is you click on it, and when you're good with it, you hit resolve or wave and it'll skip it. And then if you hit resolve, that means you clicked it yourself. Realize like a lot of AIs will auto update stuff. This does not. It just gives you the recommendation. As well as you can turn on critical only, which as you can see here, if I turn that on, it's like, oh, your prompt's good, it'll work. But if you want to make it really good, you can go here. Now, once you've got that all done, we're going to be getting into action. So at the bottom here on section up, we should have section 6 a little higher. For section 6, remember this too. Your first prompt is never your last prompt. You're going to always have to be reiterating this. Right when you think you have it perfect is the exact time when it's going to mess up or not work or whatever. So always know that you're going to always have to be constantly testing this. Again, your first prompt is never your last prompt. So here's some testing stuff. I'd also recommend trying to fix one thing at a time. Don't listen to it and be like, oh, it messed up here. Oh, it messed up there, and then try and fix it all, because that it might work, but it's usually destined to fail. Instead, find one thing that's not working, fix that one thing, and then move to the next thing. Because sometimes you have to do a couple of iterations of doing that one thing just to get it to work the way that you in your mind want it to work, because AI can't read minds yet. So the next thing here we've got our top actions. Let's move this guy up a little bit. So these are the top 14 actions. Name, email, phone number, always. Call summary. This is the big one that I like to put in at the end of the call. You've got 2 spots during the call and after the call. We'll go into that in a second when we build a couple out. But the call summary, I always like to put, hey, at the end of the call, provide a detailed call summary. Now, the system does that, but sometimes with this one, you've got 500 characters to be able to sort of prompt how you want that call summary to be. So a lot of times I'll be like, provide the next steps and let me know how this interaction went, or what you feel the objections that I need to overcome. You'd be surprised what you can put in here that the AI will do like an after action report for you and give you everything you need to know in this call summary. Next thing are roadblocks and pain points. Sometimes I'll have multiple. I'll be like roadblock 1, 2, and 3. And then in there, I'll be like, what's the number 1 or worst pain point or roadblock for the caller? And then it will update roadblock 1 or pain point 1. Next one, products they're interested in. This is a big one. I'll leave this now. Realize you have to, you can only use text blocks for these. These can't be dates. They might be able to be dates now. They can be numbers. I don't think they can be dates yet. I have to double check. But I always just use open block, either big text or small text, or I use the numbers. And really, to be honest with you, I only use numbers if I need to do some type of math or something like that, and I need to manipulate that number. Other than that, pretty much either small text box or big text box because a lot of times if it's a date or number, it's harder to use or manipulate in workflows or for it to recognize later on. So just something to be aware of. Number five, objections. Keep a couple of different of these. I usually will pull like the top five objections and then pull those all in and then update the AI to know, hey, here's the top five objections we keep getting. Here's how I want you to respond to them. Again, that would be part of your flow. You put that in when you get to that certain spot where you'd ask a certain question in that flow. Hey, here's some objections you might get. Here's responses I want, examples. The more examples you give AI, the better it's going to respond the direction you want. Another thing is budget's the next one. Great one. Finding out, hey, how much are you looking to spend on this? If their budget's way below, like you only do things 10K and above, and their budget's 5K, hey, it's not a match right now. You could have the AI give them other options, recommendations, things like that if they're not a match. But you would then, if you had the way that it always works really good for AI, is you ask your qualifying questions, and then underneath a qualifying question, you put like disqualifier for it. Or you can put all the disqualifying questions together, but I like to group it so it's just easier for the AI to find. And I'll put disqualifier. So if the qualifier is like, for instance, do you own the house? Disqualifier if the user is not the owner of the home. And that way the AI knows that. And then you can put underneath it example response if disqualified. I personally like to wait to the end to tell someone that they're disqualified, because if you don't, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, wait, I am the owner of the house. Never mind. Whereas if you go through everything, you get all the information, and then at the end, you'll be like, you're disqualified. Sorry. And if you're doing it that way, a lot of times it's better to do all the disqualified at the end as a group rather than after the question. It just depends on how you want to flow. So next thing, preferred contact method, email, phone number, SMS. A lot of people nowadays don't want to be called. They just want to be text, or they want to be hit up in WhatsApp or another different conversational channel that you might have access to. It might be Facebook, who knows? Facebook's a little bit harder, but you know what I mean. But that's really important to take into consideration. How does that person like to be contacted? Because let's be honest, the way they like to be contacted is the way they're going to respond. Timeline. It might be specific to your business or something, but what's the timeline that they're looking? Oh, I want to get this done in the next 3 months or the next year. That could be a great disqualifier. For me, if you're not looking to get started in the next 30 days, we're probably not a good fit right now. Lead source. Was it a referral? Did they read about you in a blog? Did they watch a YouTube video? All very important things to find out to see where's your traffic coming from. Because if you can't get stuff like your source, you're not going to really know and be able to monetize that and optimize it later. Service or type of interest. This is a big one. Hey, and this refers back to like products, but it could be specific services or a specific need that they might have. You can address that there. Location and address, super important, especially if you're a local business. Are they in your city or town? And then lead status. That would be, hey, is this a hot lead, cold lead, lost lead? The AI will determine that at the end of the call. You can update that very easy. And then qualification status. Are they disqualified? If so, what was the disqualification? And then anything niche specific. You might have a specific question that you need to ask them, like in roofing. Like I said, we did a lot of roofing and vets, and we've done a whole bunch of stuff since then. But there could be AI agency specific. What are their KPIs? Think about that. And those might be things that you want the AI to answer. So these are the top 14 actions that I always recommend you think about, especially ending in niche specific, that's going to branch out even more. Now, when you go into the AI model, you're going to put these in the different actions. So let's go through them. First one, call transfer. I use this a lot. I have it always to human. You always want to set it up to like, hey, if the AI gets upset, which is where you put this, when should the call transfer take place? You give it a name. This is like human transfer is what I usually call this. And then you'll put whatever phone number is in there. And then the reason, if the AI gets upset, if the AI wants to talk to a human representative, if the AI wants to talk to customer support, number of different ways, and you can do a number of different transfers to different numbers. So if you've got different people for your team, maybe they want to talk to someone in sales. Well, you could have it go to Janet or Bob or whoever's in sales and go directly to their number. This would be a great way to do that. What you do next after that is what the AI is going to say. So when they're transferring it, I like to say something usually like, oh, hey, I'm sending you over to Janet right now. Thanks for calling, or whatever. If you're doing a specific one, if they're upset, hey, sir or ma'am, I'm sorry to upset you. I'll transfer you right now to one of our human representatives. Hold on for 1 sec while I transfer you. Something like that. You have up to 500 characters, so don't be stingy on what they're going to say, especially if it's a touchy situation. You want the person to feel like they're heard. And then the final one is a whisper message. I pretty much turn this on whenever it goes to the human. They'll be like, hey, this is what's going on. Press number 1 to have this person transferred to you. So then they'll have that going. Once you're done, you just hit save, and then you can have a number of different ones available. So that is the human transfer. Next one, workflow trigger. So there are a number of workflows that we have. I have a standard actions here. These are another document that I'm going to give you down below. These are as a standard actions. So call transfer is always going to be a human. Here's some standard fields that you're going to always want to update in your custom fields. And then here's some other suggested. These are ones that I talked about: urgency, timeline, preferred contact method. These are a bunch of different ones. If you want to go beyond that niche, when I was talking about niche ones, call notes, is a follow-up needed? You'll be able to find this down below in the comments or description, so that you'll be able to pull all these in and make sure that they fit for you. And answers for qualifying questions, all different types of stuff. And then the way that you'll set these up is you'll go into the AI. Where is it? Boom. And for the workflows, if you come down on here, you'll see here's some standard workflows. So sending payment links. This is a big one that I'll do. I'll usually set it up as a trigger link, which is another step. But the cool thing is when you send it to them as a trigger link, when they click on it, it will fire another workflows and other stuff too. So I'll do this one. So this could be product number 1, whatever that is, or service number 1. And you click right here, and all the different workflows that you have will appear. So you just click on the one that you want, and it'd be like in this example, it'd be a payment link. And in that workflow, you would just have it go straight down, and it would literally be something as simple as this. You go in, let's go to automation real quick. You go to create workflow, start from scratch, and then all you would do is you would come in and you would have this be an SMS, a text message, and then this would have your trigger link in here. The trigger, you would be whatever, and then you come in, you click this trigger link and you put it in there, and that does 2 things. It allows you to be able to fire off other automations later, and it tracks to know when you click that link to be able to be interested. So then you could start like a follow-up series. Hey, I saw you click the link, but you didn't sign up. What happened? You like sort of abandoned cart. There opens a lot of possibilities with just this workflow alone. So this is one of the ones that I always have in there, because as of right now, you really can't you can, and I've done it. You can take payments, but it's a little sketchy to take credit card information right now over voice AI with security and different stuff like that. So rather than do that, I just send them a payment link via SMS. Works great. You can also do this for other calendars. Right now, you can only set up one calendar. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. And if you needed to book other calendars, you could do that. Another thing that's great for the call transfer that I forgot to do is if you want to do like a swarm of agents, you could actually have it call and hand off from one agent to another. So you'd have a secretary agent and maybe have a sales, maybe you have a customer support. Now you would get 3 phone numbers for that. You'd have your receptionist phone number and customer support, and then your sales, and then the receptionist would just defer that you just make it a transfer call to whatever the number for each of those AI is, and then you route it accordingly. So yeah, workflows are really great. Same thing, name, you'll pick the workflow, when to trigger. So it'd be when the user shows interest or wants to purchase X product or do X task or book an appointment or whatever that action or flow. There's so many different potentials that you can do from a workflow. So just really think about your niche, your customer journey, and the engagement. When someone engages with the AI, what is this experience like? If it's not fun for you, it's not going to be fun for them. It's not that you need to make it sound like a cowboy and do all types of crazy stuff, but you need to think about the engagement. Is someone going to want to sit there and answer 32 questions in a row? Probably not. 5 to 10, is good, but different things like that. Also, when it comes to triggering workflows, whether it's at the end of it and you're triggering a bunch of workflows or this one here, You do not, people don't like get inundated with 20 different messages, text and email and all this different stuff. So try and think about that engagement too. As these workflows fire, how is the user experience going to be on the other side? Oh, I just got a text. Sweet. A lot of times when I'm sending the text message, I'll be like, oh, my AI assistant sending you a text. When we're done with this call, you can follow up with them there and you'll be able to book your appointment. Is there anything else you need help with or something to that effect? Because think about it, they've handed it off and you can either make that to just a SMS, or you could open up a whole SMS to an AI and book it that way. So many different options. So, and then again, when to trigger it, like I said, and then what they're going to say. And you can do several of these. I only use about 4 or 5 of them, depending on the situation. For some of my clients that have a plethora of products, you could put them all there. You have a total of 25 actions, so always keep that in mind. Now, you've also got the ability here for the next one, SMS. This is just sending a text message. You'll name it, you'll put the message. Now, you can do up to 1,600 characters, but just remember about every 160 characters is what's called a segment. And the more segments you send, the more expensive it can get. So a real long text can get expensive, even though it's just a text message. And they're like, oh, it's 2 cents per message segment. So keep that in mind. Then you've also got the ability to have SMS templates if you already got them, so that it'll program and drop in what needs to be said. You can set these up, and I highly recommend that you do so that it's easy. So if I want to send an appointment confirmation, there you go, boom, done. When should this take place? When an appointment is booked, or when they want to book an appointment, whatever the situation is. I just grab that one. And again, what to say after it. Same thing as always. Hey, I'm sending you a confirmation text message, let you know we scheduled that appointment, whatever it is. So next one, update contact field. There's 2 different spots, during the call and after the call. During the call is going to update during the call. After the call, it's going to update after the call. Pretty self-explanatory. Stuff like the contact call summary, different the traffic temperature, things that you want to have when the call's over so that there's no more inputs, have fire after the call. Things that potentially need to update during the call, like maybe their name or something that you want to use in a workflow or you want to use later on, you're going to want to update during the call. You're going to come in, you're going to name it, first name, whatever it is, field to be update, first name. When do you update the field? Or what do you update the field to be? The name, first name of the caller, first the name of caller, boom, done. And you get up to 50, 100, or 100, 500, sorry, uh, characters in here. So you don't have to be super concise. Like I said, for the update call summary at the end, I almost use the whole 500 sometimes, like at least 200 or 300 characters, easy, telling you exactly how I want it to be. Next thing is if you want it to be able to override it. If not, if you leave this unchecked, it will fill it out once and then will not override it or fill it out again. Most of the time, I almost always leave that checked. Then the bottom, you're going to want to give examples, so like Jeff or Roberto or whatever you want to put. The more examples, the better. You can only do up to 5. You have to do a minimum of 1 or it will not work. And like I said, you can have a total up to 25 of these guys totaling together before and after the call. And then, so those are all the contact fields. So I would go through this list that I got here, standard AI actions here. I'd go through this list of different fields. I'd look at this one right here, these actions here, and see what makes sense in these, and then fill them all out accordingly. Make sure that you have to have them as custom fields. So if you don't see them, you're going to have to go down here in settings to custom field. I recommend putting everything in folders to make stuff easy to find. You can add a folder here, and then you're going to add this field. And then, like I said, single line and multi-line. You can do numbers, and I think you can do dates too, but I pretty much am always just single line, multi-line for those. And then once you've done that, you'll be able to see that they will then pop up in the AI itself. So those are the ways that you can perform different actions set up as far as that goes. And you realize that you can have these actions trigger off other workflows. So you could have the trigger for the workflow be update contact field. When the AI updates that contact field, then it triggers a whole different workflow. So you can really make these dynamic and put a lot of stuff in here. You'll see once I add an action, the MCP area appears. And then I'm going to dive into these, but tomorrow, first of all, if you want, there's a whole video at the end. I'm going to show you that I go over high levels MCP. I go deep on this. Also, tomorrow, I have a whole video called Everything You Need to Know About MCPs for High Level and N8N that I'm going to go really, really deep into it. But if you want to add MCP, you can do it by clicking here, or you can do it by clicking, oh, they moved it. You can't, it used to have it right here at the bottom. So you can add by clicking here, you'll put in the name, the URL, when you want it to time out. Again, I did a whole video on that. You'll be able to see at the end of it, I'll pop it up. And I highly recommend you watch it. Great video. As well as tomorrow, I have one that's even more in depth. It's going to show you how to build out your servers, do all that type of stuff. So next action, booking appointment. You can only do one calendar at a time. Now, the thing is here, these are days offered. So if you only wanted to do one day, like today is Wednesday, and you only want to do, say, Thursday, you'd set this at 1. Now, if you want to do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you do 3. So that's your options. You only have between 1 and 3 for each of these. Slots per day. How many times are they going to offer? So if I set this at 1, they're going to be like, okay, we have noon. If you set it for 2, they're going to be like, oh, I have it for noon and 1, 1, 2, and 3, etc. And then these are the hours between slots. So if I wanted it to offer noon, 3, and 6 for slots per day, I would set it here, and that would be noon, 3 hours later, 3, 3 hours later, 6. I usually always go with a 3-3-1 on this, so it'll give me 3 slots, 1 hour apart, and offer up to 3 days. So it'll be like, hey, Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday next week, here's the 3 times available. 1 hour to be like noon. What's better for you, noon, 1, or 2? You know, that type of thing. And then once you're ready, you can save it. You unfortunately can only add 1 appointment booking allowed right now. That's why the calendar link is so good to be sent out via, a text message or a trigger a workflow. I like the trigger a workflow a lot of times too, because then I can tag it and do a bunch of stuff in there that I couldn't do if I just sent an SMS. So that's why I really don't use SMS. If I want to send one, I'll usually trigger a workflow because that way I'm able to control it more. And then the custom action APIs, we're going to be going over this in depth tomorrow when we talk about MCPs as well. So I'm going to show you how to set all the endpoints, because this right here can call an MCP as well as the other one. So if you wanted to do any type of API call, which is basically, think of an API call as a phone call to a third-party app. So if I wanted to book or look up a size of a house for a certain address on Zillow, I could go to Ready API, and I'll go over this all tomorrow. We'll go in depth. Find that endpoint, put it in here, add a few things to it, and then I could have it to fire to whenever somebody wanted to look that up, it would fire this action. The cool thing about MCPs versus this is these actions are one action. It can only do one thing really. Where the MCPs, I can hook an MCP up to as many actions as I want. Now, the problem with it is you can only do up to 10 tools. So I could technically only have it do 10 actions. But this is one way that I could have one MCP. I'd be like, oh, look up this contact, send this email, do this, do that, do this. So that's a really good one. Again, that training is going to go deep on the actual custom actions MCPs tomorrow. I'm going to talk about N8N as well. You're going to love it. So that wraps up everything for here. Talk about here just a couple of the workflows that I like. Sales links, notes, multiple calendar link, deleting for rescheduling. Now, your AI will reschedule your appointment for you, but it will not delete them. So what I'll do a lot of times is if somebody schedules an appointment, I'll have it triggered to delete the appointment that's the oldest one. So I'll have that go in there. Reputation reviews, if they have a great experience, you could send them a review link. You could ask them to write a review, ask them about reputation management, and then updating pipeline status. So in your different pipelines, a lot of times I'll have the workflows that will move them from one section to another, so I'm able to track them. So those are some quick wins that you'll be able to easily do, as well as everything else I mentioned in workflows. So thanks so much for watching this video. Fun to lock out. Peace.